If only. We are back! The legends of the podcast game, the Sibling Ting, have returned for episode 4. And this means if you're on the 4th episode and you've not heard us 3 other times, what are you doing, first of all?
Jesus.
Go listen to them. But yeah, let's introduce ourselves, will we? Who you think you're talking to? I'm introducing here. I'm the youngest. I'm the gangster. I'm doing football and darts. The most whitest and basic sports known to man.
I don't know. That's okay.
The best in the world.
I am the middle child. I'm Carter, and I will be doing boxing, UFC, and the combat side of sports.
I'm Charlie. I'm the oldest, and I do motorsports.
So, as some would say, when I say some, I mean us, 3 distinguished people. Lights out and podcast on. I was getting a haircut.
You were, yeah.
And
I'd just say as well, Jessie's haircut, really does look good at the minute. I'm very proud.
Now, this is how I can explain I'm ill. I was actually waiting for the jingle to hit to carry on talking.
Yeah. You know what? I reckon it that was a bit rocky, but I reckon in a few we're gonna get that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that.
Do you know what? I like the fact that we've never got it right yet. I kind of like
to
that.
be fair, the first time
right
you did it by yourself. The second time you did it by yourself.
Yeah.
And then the third time we did it, and then that was the first time we've tried it. And it was rocky, but I think it sounded okay. I think in a few we'll get it.
Speaking of rocky, Derby County.
Nice. That's a really nice segue.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
I was getting said haircut. I was walking home, and after I was walking home, I get a notification on my phone saying in the 97th minute, Millwall has scored against us. Now, so if you've listened to our previous podcast, you think I'm going to go on a rant about being depressed and whatnot. No, I'm not, because personally, League One tickets are really easy to get.
They are.
So I'm not too fussed about it.
Cheaper? They're cheaper?
Yeah.
They're not cheaper, unfortunately, but they're just easier to get. Yeah,
doesn't it depend on the stadium as well? Because I know people who have been in League One and the tickets are cheaper because the stadium is different. Whereas Pride Park is going to be like more
Pride
expensive.
Park will be the same, but if we go down to like we did Charlton, didn't we? We went down to that was cheaper. That was quite a cheap ticket too.
That's what I mean. I think it depends on your stadium.
So I'm not really going to talk too much about Derby County just because there's not really much to say about it other than the fact we are getting relegated.
I mean,
we saved it. Goalkeeper dived the right way, saved it. Stadium went up, get in, and you would assume when someone saves, they should go for an attack. They did not. It was the same pace as it was before,
Jacob,
and it was not fun. But as soon as they scored, I was up and literally like with my jacket on, going right. Where's the stairs?
So 2 little notes to add to this. I wasn't going to speak about Derby. Just 2 little notes to add. Jacob gave me a little statistic. He said, "I have not seen." I believe it was over 1,000. It might have been 1,000 minutes of football. Essentially, Derby County have not scored a goal in 2025.
Oh,
wow.
That's heartbreaking.
There has been, I think he said, over 1,000 minutes of football, and he has not seen a Derby County goal.
Gee.
Yeah, in other football news, we had Liverpool versus City.
Yeah.
Liverpool are clear contenders to win. I'm not even going to say clear contenders. They're going to win the title.
Gutted I missed that game.
What else was the United Everton?
Yeah.
2-2 draw.
Yeah.
Everton, you know what? I'm happy. Moisey under Everton. He's turning it around. Man United are going the opposite way.
I love listening to Tony Bellew talk about Everton.
Oh, that was great.
It's character building. It's character building.
So that you know what? I'm not even gonna push the football okay, so avoiding the football because quite frankly it has been miserable this week, and I don't want to talk about other people's teams being good or even bad, because even if I speak about other teams being even like if they conceded a goal, like how Forest lost 4-3 to Newcastle, I should be cheering that because they lost, no, because they don't understand the miserableness of being a Derby fan.
I mean, just to be honest here, Jess, I will end up talking majority of the time probably of my team, Ferrari, being crucially beaten.
I'm just very happy.
I think you need to start talking about other teams being unbiased.
No, I'm very happy for you.
Okay.
I will not be doing that because.
I think.
Well, I'll look into it. I will. I've said anyway. I would love one of you lot to comment so I could watch a football game. I'll live stream it on the Sibling Ting Twitch. That would be, or the YouTube. That'd be quick.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Quick. I'm so ill. Going to probably my favourite sport at the moment, darts.
Because there's no pain in that one.
Oh, there isn't. It was a great week for darts. I also hit 180 today.
Yeah. You did? Oh, did you?
That makes it my 15th. Being wrong has never still counted. Right. I hit my 2 favourite dart players in the final.
Yeah. You have to tell me because I actually missed this week. So I actually didn't see this week.
I see. So it started off with balls. Oh, that was it. Bunting and Humphreys.
You're also going to say that Jesse's very ill for this.
Yeah, there's having me on drunk and then there's having me on ill. I think ill was a lot worse.
We've never had you on drunk, so
yeah, it's coming. It's on its way. It was Bunting and Humphreys.
Right.
Humphreys won.
Obviously.
Bunting has yet to get a point.
I would like to mention, if you remember correctly, Char, Jesse said Bunting was going to beat Humphreys for last week's prediction.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, you did say that. Yeah, I remember now.
Gezzy, Super Girl and Price versus Luke the Nuke.
Yeah.
Girl and Price won.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
He did predict that.
Yeah.
Predict that.
Then it was Aspinall versus Rob Cross, probably one of the worst matches I've ever seen.
Right.
Aspinall prevailed.
Oh, I do like Aspinall.
Michael Van Gogh and Chris Dobie. Michael Van Gogh won.
Yeah, which we knew was going to happen.
Humphreys versus Gerwin Price.
Yeah.
Gerwin Price won.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah. No, I believe as well, I could be wrong about it. He hit the big fish, there's 170, and I believe up until the 6th leg, he didn't miss a single dart at double. I could be wrong. I think even in the I believe he didn't miss a single dart double in that game.
Nice.
So he decimated.
Nice.
He booyard in words.
Oh, I love a booyard.
Aspinall versus Michael Van Gerwen.
Michael Van Gerwen.
Aspinall won.
Oh my god.
So it was a Gezzy Aspinall final.
That is so unexpected.
My 2 favourite dart players in the final.
Aspinall. Yeah, I love Gerwin Price as well, to be fair.
The winner was Mr. Booyar himself in Gerwin Price.
Yay, I love Gerwin Price.
Gerwin Price is, he deserved it. He played particularly well.
I think we said last week, one of us said, when he's on form, he's very hard to beat.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. If he was on form, Humphreys was on form, Littler was on form, it'd have been a better match. I don't know who would have won. But when Gezzy is on form, he's particularly good.
He just seems. I just love the booyahs. I love the booyahs.
All of the booyah.
Yeah. Booyah.
To be honest, there's not much to speak about. We'll do. You know what? We'll just quickly do it.
Predictions. You want to do predictions again?
Yeah, predictions coming up this week. We have start off the night Van Gerwen versus Rob Cross.
Bang Gerwen.
Yeah,
I don't mind Rob Cross from time to time, but I think Van Gerwen.
I mean, your best mate's let you down a couple of times now.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Van Gerwen.
I will go. Oh yeah, Van Gerwen. I reckon Van Gerwen will win. Gezzy Price versus Luke the Nuke. No, it's not Luke the Nuke. It is Luke Humphreys.
Right.
So it's Gerwin Price versus Luke Humphreys.
Ooh.
Thing is about Gerwin Price, he doesn't follow up the next week with it. So I think he has one good week, sure.
Yeah.
No, I think Humphreys is going to win.
I want Price to
I'll
win.
be interesting then, and I'll say Price.
I'll be interested. I will say Price because not only do I want Price to win, but I think he can win. So I'm going to say it.
Any of them can win. But I just think he's not consistent with how good he is.
Shut up, Carter.
Shut up, Jesse.
Chris Dobie versus Nathan Aspinall.
Aspinall.
I would like Aspinall to win.
I like Aspinall. I'll say Aspinall.
But I think Dobie will. I think Dobie will win. However, I would like Aspinall to win.
I love Aspinall. He seems so lovely.
Dobie's alright, to be fair.
God, I can see who it is already.
Bunting versus the Nuke.
The Nuke.
Yeah, Luke, and don't do your normal stuff because you're wrong every week. Don't do your Stephen Bunting.
You know what's really upsetting about this?
I mean, for the purpose of the podcast, you know what? Let's not do the predictions for 2 seconds, Jesse. Let's discuss your obsession, your absolute love, erotica with Stephen Bunting.
You know what? This might actually.
This is a perfect time. This is the right platform, I think, for you to discuss how in love with Stephen Bunting you are.
This can be a good. Like a good highlight. I will clip this for a highlight. I personally believe that because he's one of the most popular dart players in the world.
He seems lovely. He seems like a lovely man.
Currently,
yeah. I'd say he is the most popular.
Right.
Not Luke. No, not Luke Nittler.
I was going to say.
Yeah. I mean, Humphreys, we've gone into several bars now and there's been cutouts and coasters and I've seen posters.
Yeah, that's his world.
Okay. Let me rephrase it. Fan favourite.
Yeah.
He is the biggest fan favourite.
Yeah, he seems lovely.
And I believe the reason behind that, and this is in all sports, this is the reason with a lot of people when... do you remember Kante for Chelsea? Is Kante for Chelsea? I can't even pronounce his name. Jesus Christ. What is happening to me?
No, I don't know.
I remember that player in Chelsea.
Yeah.
Or Norris, McLaren.
Where are you going with this?
I personally think the reason a lot of fans support these athletes, in words, is because they're relatable.
Right.
It's because they don't see a product. They don't see, like with Bunting, for example, you don't look at someone and think he's got the sponsors and whatnot, but he's not corporately made. He's not a product. While you look at Luke Humphreys and, you ask, how's the darts going today? I think the darts are going very well. I think they're great. And then you look at Stephen Bunting, he's going bad. I just think he's very genuine and very authentic. And that's what I love.
Yeah, I would say that with a lot of darts players, to be fair. I think it's that kind of sport where...
It is a lot of sport.
Carter's shaking his head.
I think he knows what he's doing. I think they all...
Yeah,
they all play for the cameras because they know, right, this will earn me money, so do this, do that.
I don't think Stephen Bunting does.
I think the word and the crowd chanting, it's all part of it. Peter Wright is part of the
He wasn't even a darts player at that time, I don't believe. I believe he's... Yeah,
but like... That's the thing, is they know how to play it.
I don't agree. I personally believe, and it's the same reason with...
Also, Norris was the worst.
I was going to say, to be fair, Norris? He doesn't always play. Like, I've seen, I can't remember her name, but his old media personality, whenever he'd go on one, and she'd just be sat there like, please, like, cut.
Stop.
It's another one for me, Jose Mourinho.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe it's not the character himself.
I prefer not to
say anything.
I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble.
That's his football heritage. It's just, I think for me, in all athletes, in all of sports, I think that it is, if you are authentic, you will. I think not even just sports, in all of media, in content, where it's content creation, if you are authentic and you are real at what you do, I think the fans will notice that.
Yeah.
And I think with Bunting, a lot of people see this just genuine guy who is able to make an entire arena sing Titanium together.
I mean, the thing is, it's a great song, but it's also so difficult to sing.
And he gets a whole stadium.
You need to be drunk to sing that song because it's a difficult.
And you get this just ordinary, genuine bloke just being able to do that, and I just think that's great.
Yeah.
However,
you are in love with him.
He's not my favourite darts player.
You are a bit obsessed with him.
I think Gezi. I'd say Gezi.
You are a bit obsessed with him
because it's Stephen Bunting.
Okay.
Right, on to the semis.
Okay. Yeah.
Van Gerwen versus, did we say agree on Price or Humphreys?
I said Price.
I said Humphreys.
So, Carter, Van Gerwen or Humphreys?
Humphreys.
I will go...
You go first. I'll go with whatever you go against.
You know what? Here's my thought.
Because I would win.
Charlie would say like Phil Taylor.
Yeah.
If Gerwen Price actually managed to beat Humphreys, then this might actually be like a good contendership. However, if I was to say Van Gerwen, I'd be more likely he makes it to the final if Humphreys beats Price. No, you know what? I'll go Price. I think Price. Yeah,
I'll go Van Gerwen then. Make it interesting.
Aspinall or Dobie versus Littler or Bunton? Who did you?
I'm going to say Aspinall and Luke, and I'm going to say I love him. I'm going to back Luke.
I think Littler's going to make it to the final.
Yeah, Littler in final.
Yeah. And then final then.
Oh God, it's got Luke versus Luke in the final.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a glazer
You are
for
a little
Humphries.
bit for it every time.
I like Humphries. I like the person. I like who he is. So I do think he's going to win.
I think it will be Littler and Gezi in the final.
Yeah.
He needs confidence, Humphries, because the crowd hates him. Like, the crowd hates Humphries for some reason.
That's a shame.
It is. I mean, the booing still, I
don't
can't
think they do.
over.
I don't think they do.
Well, think about the
I've not
booing
seen
and the
it.
whistling. It's
No, they do that with everyone, really.
no, but it's
When they're
always
bad
Humphries.
final.
But the worst you'll see is with Humphries. Every time, whoever is going against, they'll cheer and then they'll boo and whistle for Humphries.
I will say Gerwin Price is going to win a second night in a row.
I'll say between Van Gerwen and Littler. I'll say Littler.
Do you want to guess who I'm going to say?
Humphries?
Yeah.
Do you want to
We
hear,
all knew.
Yeah.
We all knew.
Yeah.
do you want to hear my actual opinion now?
Go on.
I do think it will be Littler Van Gerwen in the final, and I think Littler will win it. Yeah.
Well, we'll see when I'm right, because I normally am.
Now, I did mention beforehand that I had sections again I wanted to get into regarding
Okay.
another highlight. You see, I've been promoted in the Sibling Ting as marketing manager.
I mean, I wouldn't say promoted. You've got actual knowledge around it. So I wouldn't say it's promoted. It's what you should do.
I will be telling everyone that I'm a marketing manager.
Right, okay. You're a marketing manager, yeah.
So we're just gonna fire off a question. I'm gonna name you a sport.
Right, okay. Yeah.
You give me the GOAT.
Okay, yeah, I like this.
sport.
Okay, I like this. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, go on.
Okay, number one,
Yep.
football.
Come on, Joe, you know this. There's only one answer, really.
Again, this is all
Messi.
opinion.
Yeah, Messi.
I mean, there's a few. You could say Maradona.
It's one or
Pele,
two.
Ronaldo,
It's
Messi.
Ronaldo. It's Ronaldo or Messi.
I'd say
You could say
Messi.
any of them, but it's Messi. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I will go Ronaldo.
Okay.
Oh my God! Off camera, you would never. Say
Off
this.
camera, I wouldn't. Off
this,
camera,
you would
probably
never
wouldn't.
say that in a million years. Actually, I've heard you disagree and argue with people on that.
You know what it is? I'm seeing this microphone and it's just changing me as a man.
Changing you as a person.
Okay.
Oh, no, Carl didn't say.
He said Messi.
Oh, did you say
Yeah,
Messi?
Messi.
Okay.
Okay. Tennis.
Oh, Federer. Do you know what I'm kind of
No,
doing it?
no, no.
Do you know what I'm doing it like? Do you know where it's like you have to think the first thing that comes to my brain? And Federer was just the first person that came to my brain. I'd say either Federer or Djokovic. If I was thinking about it,
That's
I'd say
the one I
Djokovic.
know.
Djokovic
Yeah.
has literally won.
If I was to
most,
think
I
about it,
think.
I'd say Djokovic. But
There
Federer
was
came
like
to my brain
there was
straight
a
away.
few. It was like Federer, Nadal.
Yeah.
You could say Serena Williams for the women's tennis as well.
Yeah, Serena Williams is, yeah.
But I think Djokovic actually has won the most.
Yeah.
Opens, most tournaments, or most championships of all time. I'm pretty sure on that. I don't know a whole bunch, but I'm pretty sure he's won the most. So
I know
think,
Djokovic, yeah.
I think Nadal is up there though, so that was also a question. But I would agree with Djokovic.
Yeah.
Formula One.
Senna.
Yeah,
Senna.
yeah. I thought you were going to say Schumacher, and you're like, it's Senna.
And the
You know
thing
it's
is,
Senna.
like, it's so hard because, like, growing up, obviously, I knew so much about Schumacher. I watched him on Top Gear so often. Obviously, there was like a big thing where he was potentially the Stig. He wasn't, but he did drive around.
He did take his helmet off.
I know. I was so excited.
That was cool.
But no, I really love Schumacher. I have a special place in my heart for Schumacher. But you just can't compare when it comes to Senna.
Because I grew up and I never knew it until I was 19.
Yeah, you would have been 19 when you first got into it. Yeah.
But I always knew Lewis Hamilton.
I was just about to say Lewis Hamilton.
I think Lewis Hamilton is definitely up
But the thing
there.
is, I think that there is a question for free that you can say Schumacher, Hamilton, Senna. But
Actually, I think
Senna
there's a
just
fourth. There's a man called Nicholas Latifi who's known as Go-Tifi.
It's like saying Heskey for the goal of football. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a mockery.
Okay, let me put darts.
Phil Taylor. It's just,
Yeah, Phil
I
Taylor.
don't think there's another sport where someone's won as
Like
much
dominated.
as and dominated that sport I don't know, sport is a bit of a...
I know.
But, yeah, but
Do you know when,
Phil
like,
Taylor.
do you know when Dad says to me all the time, well, they're not really sports people, are they, when I talk about F1 drivers? And I'm like, but you're watching darts. And it's an argument, like, really?
Can I just say, Stephen Bunting looks like that. Is incredibly funny. He's probably the best person you'll ever meet in your life, yeah? Probably so much money as well. I don't know how much money he earns in darts, but I can assume it's quite a lot, yeah? Who's winning in life? Him or me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That is an athlete.
Don't say you're a sports person. You're not.
Whoa. I'm not saying I am.
He plays darts every Monday.
I'm not saying that. No. I'm not saying I am.
athlete.
No, well, I'm not saying I am. I'm saying Stephen Bunting is.
Sure.
Fair.
That was an athlete,
Okay.
right?
Well, it's Phil Taylor. That was an easy. Easy one.
Yeah. Well, even Van Gerwen's a shout.
Van Gerwen, Anderson,
Robert Parr, I've heard. From the ones I've heard.
John
Parr, sorry. Oh, what is wrong with me? Eric
John
Bristow. Eric Bristow.
Bristow,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Bristow, yeah.
Van Berg.
Did you say Vandenberg?
Van Berg.
You mean Barney?
Yeah.
Raymond van Barneveld?
What did I say?
Dimitri Vandenberg.
I didn't say Dimitri.
You said Vandenberg.
You did Vandenberg.
Could be Dimitri Vandenberg.
The one that dances. We like
Yeah,
him.
I like him. He
Wait,
is
who
funny.
am I saying?
I miss him.
Vandenberg.
Yeah.
And what is my meant to say?
Barneveld. You've got me, mate.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
move on.
Right, let's move on.
Boxing.
Do you know what?
Oh, you're going to annoy me so much. I know you two's answers.
We're gonna
I
have
know
to say
your
it,
two
Tim.
answers, and it's going to annoy me so
Mike
much.
Tyson.
It is Mike Tyson.
Oh, God, I want to punch something. No.
I know you want to say Muhammad Ali.
Okay, no.
it's Tyson.
The GOAT of boxing. Okay, the
Tyson.
greatest of all time. No, not your opinion, is it not? Like, Phil
That is
Taylor.
my opinion.
But isn't the greatest of all time going to be your opinion? Because everyone's always going to have a different opinion.
Well, if we're talking
Because
about.
you would have accepted me really saying Michael Schumacher to a degree.
Yeah.
Over Formula 1.
Yeah.
So it is an opinion-based thing because the realistic answer would be Senna.
Yeah, but Mike Tyson's not even in the talk for greatest of all time. He's not in the talk for
is,
it.
though.
No,
He
he's
is.
not.
He is,
He's
though.
not.
It
He's
is.
not.
Can I just make my argument
Not.
for why?
He's up there.
My argument for it is, in his prime, I'm not saying Carter's going to argue like if there was fighting. I mean, if you're talking about a guy who held the heavyweight division on his back, Carter's going to be like, Muhammad Ali is very heavyweight. What, when you're surrounded by Foreman, Frazier, that division would survive. Yeah, Mike Tyson held a division on his back. He was the champ.
And I will defend myself by saying if I didn't say Mike Tyson, and our father does listen to this podcast, I would be kicked out.
Oh, people are going to rag me for this. But
Yeah.
I also will say about Mike Tyson as well.
Saying this for Dad.
You know what it is? I think with a lot of people, when they think about, like, you're going to think, who would you rather get hit by? Who would you rather fight, a bear or Mike Tyson? Everyone says, like, Mike Tyson. Do you know what I mean? Everyone knows him as, like, the hardest bloke there is.
I mean, I think the point is people would pick the bear.
Right, guys, I'm gritting my teeth a bit, and I don't want to break them. All right,
Yeah,
so I'm going to chat, but I'm going to be calm about it. All right.
I'd suggest
Mike Tyson held a division. That's not true. I'm not going to swear. That's not true. Okay, he held no division. There was no great heavyweight to fight him. The only great one around that time was Lennox Lewis, and Lennox Lewis beat him. Holyfield, okay, he beat him. The only reason Mike Tyson has the name he does is because he was a generation after Muhammad Ali. So you say, and he was the best of that generation. So you say, he's the best of that generation. Same as you say, this generation is Alexander Usyk. The previous between Mike Tyson and Alexander Usyk was Vladimir Klitschko.
So you're saying it's Alexander Usyk over Tyson Fury?
Yes. Well, he's beaten twice. You can't argue it now, can you?
Well, yeah, but I would imagine most people would say it would be Tyson Fury.
The reason the reason I'm
you
going to
could say Tyson Fury, you could say the same as you can say. Most people would say Lennox Lewis over Mike Tyson.
But like you could say, Mike Tyson is the greatest of all time over Muhammad Ali.
No.
In the same way. But
No.
it is the same sort of thing.
The thing is, if you're saying the greatest of all time, Mike Tyson's not in the picture. You could say Sugar Ray Robinson, Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali. You say George Foreman's up there.
I tell you what, love his grills.
It's great. He's got great grills.
Great
Joe Frazier. You've got old ones. Rocky Marciano never lost fight. I hate to say it, I don't find him an entertaining fighter, but Mayweather never lost a fight. Technically, him and Rocky Marciano would be. But you're saying Muhammad Ali is the greatest of all time. And if not Muhammad Ali, it's Sugar Ray Robinson.
I like
Them two are the only answers you can accept. Mike Tyson might be top 10, but he's of the latter.
So I don't get kicked out of this house. I'm saying Mike Tyson.
I would also like to say my opinion is Mike Tyson.
And also,
he is the.
I get very emotional over Muhammad Ali,
Sorry,
and I will defend it.
I'm also giving a second reason. I'm so sorry, Carter. I forgot to add this reason beforehand. So obviously, first reason is that, you know, Dad would hurt me if I didn't say this. But secondly, watching you become so enraged and actually having to shut your eyes because you're that angry is making me so happy that I stand by my answer so strongly of Mike Tyson. I am willing to say it under oath.
Do you know what? I would also agree with that. I personally think if someone said Muhammad Ali, and sometimes I even switch between the days where I watch Muhammad Ali highlights, where I would say is one of the two.
Yeah, but watching Carter get this angry
is making me want to say Mike Tyson more. Yeah,
so Mike Tyson. So 2 out of 3 have said it. So for the purposes, for the marketing manager, just to be clear, the Sibling Ting podcast agree, and we believe that Mike Tyson is the go-to. 2 out of 3.
No,
that's a majority. Majority vote.
No. Muhammad Ali.
Thank you to the marketing manager for that.
I've got more sections if you wanted to do another.
We could do that next week, Jess.
Yeah,
sure. We could do that next week. Carter, I believe you would probably want to discuss a little fight that happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead then.
Jesus Christ.
Go ahead.
All right, so the fight is quite a big one to talk about, so I'll talk about the upcoming fights in UFC and boxing. UFC on the 9th of March. There is a few here and there, but unfortunately nothing big enough for me to chat about. I might as well keep it to the bigger events. I mean,
you don't really need to speak about the events, Cart. You could just talk about what happened. Because I believe you and Dad said it was one of the best fights you've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I'll get the future events out of the way and then talk about it because it was big.
Okay.
UFC 313 is on the 9th of March, and it's Alex Pereira versus Ankalaev, I want to say, with Justin Gaethje and Dan Hooker on the undercard. Alex Pereira is one of the biggest names in the UFC right now.
I don't know.
John Jones, Islam, I suppose.
I only know one name in UFC, and I won't utter it since, you know, certain court proceedings.
Oh, Conor, Alex Pereira he's good. He's got incredible power, and it's for a light heavyweight match. It's not a championship or anything, but it's a fight. He's very good, very talented. He's a very hard hitter. So he's getting a lot of knockouts against decent fighters as well. He fought Adesanya, he's fought Strickland. He's only had 12 fights, and he's got 2 losses under his belt as well in UFC, which if it was anybody else, people would say that's not enough of a record to say this person's great. But he's got character. He is a good fighter, and he's getting them knockouts. So he's kind of one of the faces of UFC right now. Okay. So that'll be a good little match. For boxing, we've not got a whole bunch coming up, but we have got Tank Davis. Is very good. He's had 30 fights, 28 knockouts, no losses, no draws. He's doing very good. He's a lightweight champion, I believe.
Beat Ryan Garcia, I remember that.
He did beat Ryan Garcia. That was one of the biggest matches here. That was quite a good match. Ryan Garcia, he wasn't in the right mind space. Otherwise, I don't know, it would have been a better fight. But either way, very, very, very good fighter. He is lightweight champion, and he is fighting Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach has 25 wins, 10 by knockout, 1 loss. It isn't a terrible. It's not a terrible record. You know, you see that anywhere else. 25 wins, 1 loss is pretty impressive. 10 by knockout is more of a technical one, not a heavy hitter. It's pretty good. Tank Davis. It's for the lightweight championship. Tank Davis is he's going to beat him. He's one of the names in America for boxing. He's going to beat him for sure. I also had a press conference recently. Charlie, do you know Chris Eubank Sr. and Nigel Benn?
Is that when Chris Eubank? Oh no,
Stupendous Confectionery.
Okay. Oh yeah. Senior. Is that the one where he seriously injured?
No, that
right,
wasn't
okay.
Nigel Benn. That was
Right. I know who Chris Eubank
Oh,
Senior
I
is,
remember the name.
and
can't remember now,
I love to meet Chris Eubank Jr.
Yeah.
Love to meet him. I think it's Chris Eubank Jr. Anyway. Is that the other boxer?
His son.
His son.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I preferred this is stupendous confectionery.
Oh, we showed Jesse.
Does he do it on purpose? Surely.
Jesse asked that the
We
other
had
day.
this full-blown
Surely he
conversation.
does it on purpose.
We watched this video the other day. I've seen so many videos. It's so funny. But Jesse had never seen it. It was a video of him in KFC for the first time trying KFC. He says, never tried it, nothing. And he goes in and he's going, oh, I love this scenery, and he's dancing. And then they get the chicken out and he gets a tango. And like the mate goes, all right, he takes a sip of his drink and goes, right, do you want to take a sip of your drink? He has like 3/4 of a cup, like just downs it. And Jesse's like, no, it's an act, surely.
It has to be put on.
No,
it has
it's
to.
him.
No, it has to be put on. Because at the end of the day, there's no way you're like that normally. It has to be put on.
Unless
it has to be.
It's
Because he had a very bad childhood, from what I know. So do you
That
reckon
doesn't
it's...
cause you to be like that.
It can,
do that, maybe
definitely.
you've got all
A
the
rough
things.
childhood and being punched in the face and the head
As
so many
many
times
times, maybe.
would affect you slightly.
Yeah.
But to be fair, he's not a bad person. He just is just a bit strange.
odd.
But
Just
there's
odd.
nothing wrong with that. And it's very funny.
Yeah.
I mean, he has one of the best cameos in any film I've ever seen in my life. So
Yeah, have you
He's
seen
odd.
it?
No.
But this is literally what happens, yeah? Mm-hmm. He walks in.
Right.
He explains that a bee should not be able to fly
I reckon I can do it,
because of its body and it's due to its wingspan and mass of its body, yeah?
Right.
He then says it makes a little honey too. He then leaves. And that is his cameo.
It's amazing. He just like, bear in mind, the scene is like, it's a film, it's like a B movie. These lads have to do a boxing fight, whatever, and their mates are in the back going, amping them up as whatever. And they're just sat there talking, and then he just walks in. And I think the character is Chris Eubank. He is the boxer. I think that's the point. And he walks in. I can't do it off by heart, but I think it's. Did you know, according to the aerodynamics, the bumblebee shouldn't be able to fly due to its wingspan? Explains the whole bunch, and then as he's leaving, he goes, and makes a little honey too. Nods and walks off. It's the best cameo scene I've ever seen in any film ever, and it's just him being him. It's amazing. He's so funny, but I do think that's actually him. I do think, but him and Nigel Benn anyway, back in the 90s, had it might have even been 80s actually. It would have been 90s.
Old Trafford, that fight.
Whatever, yeah. They had some wars. They had some absolute wars. They hate each other. It was one of the biggest rivalries in middleweight, lightweight boxing, probably of all time. To be quite honest with you, it's definitely up there with the Hagler Hearns, Leonard Hearns. It's up with Leonard Durant. They're all some of the biggest, and I think Ben Eubank are definitely up there. Nigel Benn, phenomenal. Chris Eubank's phenomenal. I think Chris Eubank just had a couple more wins. However, the sons are now fighting. Chris Eubank Jr. is not his father. He is not as good. Don't get me wrong, his record is impressive.
Bit of a Star Wars moment here.
Yeah, his record is impressive, but it's not. It's hard as well. Imagine your dad is one of the greatest lightweight, middleweight boxers of all time. I'd say, and definitely one of the best British boxers of all time. And then you've got to fill his boots because you go into the boxing world. It's hard. It's a lot of pressure on, and you can. I kind of feel bad for him because of how much pressure he has on for him. He's got a good record. He's got 37 fights, got 34 wins, 25 knockouts, 3 losses. It's a decent record, but he's just not enjoyable enough like his dad. So you're always going to compare. Yeah. Conor Benn, I'm not sure his record, but he's good. He's just, again, it's not his dad. Nigel Benn was one of the greatest. So again, you're gonna say, right, is he as good? You're gonna compare him. He's just not. Them two, they're not the parents, which is fine. I mean, like him, he's not got any losses. 23 wins, 14 knockouts. Not an amazing record, but it's okay. It's good. They're just not the dads. Mm-hmm. But their fight is fueled by a rivalry in the 90s with the parents. Now we're going. We had a press conference the other day where Eubank had an egg in his pocket, and as Conor Ben's going, chatting in his ear, whatever, Chris Eubank slaps egg across his face, splatters everywhere. Whole fight goes off, Ben goes for him, everything kicks off. So it's going to be a proper rivalry. I mean, there's a rivalry anyway. It's Chris Eubank, Conor Ben. Rivalry with parents. So that'll be a good fight. UFC is discussed. No real great boxing fights coming up. Obviously got Tank Davis coming up.
So are we talking about the fight?
Now, the fight. To start, Zhang, I'm not going to go through all the undercards, but Zhang, obviously he's fought Parker, he beat Deontay Wilder, which is definitely a big one. Zhang has never been stopped, which meant a TKO or a KO, never been knocked out or stopped. It's the first time he's ever been stopped in his career. Kabil, how I believe I say it, he beat him. He beat Zhang, first person to ever stop him. Which was sad, but it happens in boxing, heavyweight, especially if you're getting hit that hard. And unfortunately, he suffered a loss. Stevenson was the third fight, third undercard to the main event. He was supposed to fight someone. They did not turn up. Instead, we had a British boxer. He flew in. He works as an electrician. He flew in that morning to fight.
Great.
I give respect to that guy.
Legend.
Yeah, I mean, I can't give enough respect. He's an electrician that flew in that morning and said, I'll fight. He went the distance with a champion, with a lightweight champion. Never lost, this guy. And he came in and fought him for a championship and lasted 12 rounds. He lost, this guy. Yeah. He lost. But I, give all respect to the world. All respect to the world.
Could you imagine though, you booked in to see him that day? You're like, oh God, I'm really hoping to get my electricity sorted today. Yeah, no problem. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm going to have to cancel. I'm going to, where was it held? Like Dubai, Saudi? I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'm so sorry. Are you joking? I've had it booked in for over a month. Are you joking? Just thinking,
imagine the phone call, that being like, hi mate, have you just finished your shift? Yeah, I'm all good.
Can you get on a plane?
Do you fancy coming to, do you know one of the biggest fights that's happening, yeah? Do you fancy just coming on the undercard and fighting, the world champion, just fancy going a few rounds with him? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, go on.
You've got to hope that he does have boxing experience, right?
Huh? Yeah. No,
could you imagine if he's just an electrician and they were like, I have a mate called Ben.
Yeah.
Random electrician.
Stand for this.
He'd be well up for it.
No, he smashed it. Josh Padley, his name is.
Sorry.
From Doncaster.
Oh, nice.
Just up the road, not far off.
If you're getting your electricity sorted, he's not going to look great.
I am mistaken, actually. They were forced to retire. I thought it went the distance. It was the end of the 9th round. They retired him. Chucked him. That's my mistake. I thought it was majority
9 rounds,
decision. But 9 rounds, and then him not knocking out, but stop it. It's pretty impressive. Very impressive. Bear in mind, again, this guy's had 15 professional fights, which is decent as a professional fighter. Beats an electrician from Doncaster, and he got a call to say,
fair play.
Come on, do you want to go? And he said, yeah, just book me a flight. I'm on my way. Do you want to pack? No, that's all right. I'll just go.
Right.
Like, it's amazing.
I'll come in my work gear.
Yeah, I'll come in work gear. It's like, we're going to need you to dress for the ring. Like, no, I've got my high vis. That's cool. But you know what? All respect to Will for him.
Yeah,
very, very impressive.
Fair enough, yeah.
Against Stevenson won now. We retained his title.
Yeah.
Then we had Joseph Parker. Now, Daniel Dubois fell ill, and we didn't talk about this because we obviously discussed this. Yeah, very good. I wanted to see Daniel Dubois win.
I wanted to see him fight just so I can keep going. Dubois.
But unfortunately, fell ill. Hope he's okay and all that. And they will have a rematch, and they'll have a fight coming up.
He didn't fall ill. He read a book and it got too much for his head. So that's what happened to him.
What's this word mean?
What's happened?
Yeah, it's a shame, but that's how boxing is. Sometimes you get injuries, sometimes you fall ill, you can't fight. It's what it is. So Joseph Parker fought and Martin Bakoli. I think I'm saying that right. It's a bit of a controversial one. and I'm sure some people agree, some people wouldn't. He took a drop. There is absolutely no way.
I saw the punch. It does it him clean on his head.
No, it doesn't. It skims his head. The thing is with boxers is that when like a swing is coming, you kind of want it to, you obviously want to avoid getting punched.
But
if you avoid getting punched, but like say a glove kind of like tips you but like skims off. So it clips you but it skims off. You kind of want that to happen because it means you're not getting punched in your jaw or your nose, so you're not going to get knocked out, especially by a heavyweight.
I mean, being hit in your forehead's still going to hurt.
It's still going to hurt, but it's not going to be a knockout punch because...
I mean, your brain's up there. It could rattle it.
Sure, but it's different for heavyweight boxers. You're kind of used to it, and so you're going to prefer to get, slip off. You're going to, right?
Okay.
You're going to prefer a little clip and slide off your head instead of being clean punched in your jaw. Joseph Parker is a heavyweight boxer. He's very good. Maybe his punches aren't powerful and caught a right bit of his head and he lost all function and fell back.
Yeah.
He fell back after standing pretty straight, but I'm just going to say it was a drop because he was barely hit. He was barely hit, and the referee as well. The guy dropped down, his legs all went, which was weird, but whatever, he fell, and then he was getting back up, went to his corner, went, right, turned around, referee count to 6 or 7, and then waved it off and said no. Well, that's not the rules of boxing.
Okay.
Makes no sense. But who knows? Maybe that's completely legal. Maybe that is completely legal, and he won fair and square.
Yeah. Maybe.
Well, technically he did, so yeah. I can't say much. I think he took a drop, well, it is what it is. But now, one of the best fights I've seen in modern time. An absolute war between two people. Absolutely amazing. From start to finish was fantastic. Now, I don't agree with the results, but I also don't disagree with it. The first few rounds of a fight was amazing. They came out, they looked ready to kill each other. Bivol is not a knockout puncher, he's a technical boxer, he's very good, so he can keep him. But Beterbiev, he was trying to kill him. He was controlling the entire ring. He was just moving just every time Bivol jumped around and Beterbiev was there, just punching. Beterbiev is 40 years old, he gasses easier, but Bivol is 34. Still gasses, but he's younger. The first few rounds, Beterbiev just hammered, and he started to slow down. Bivol took a few rounds, got a few good hits in. Beterbiev, I'm saying Beterbiev by the way, is Beterbiev. Artur Beterbiev. Beterbiev is it.
Sure. You completely bodged someone's name and just admit to that. You go for it.
I imagine we meet these people. But no, he gets like all the punches Bivol's throwing at. He's doing nothing. Like, this guy is harder than nails. This guy is amazing. The punches do nothing. He's just standing there taking it, getting hit. And then carry on, still throwing the punches. It's going round to each of them. It's going Bivol, Beterbiev, Bivol, Beterbiev, Bivol, Beterbiev. It's just constantly back and forth. The last 4-5 rounds were some of the best boxing I've ever seen. They were gassing, Beterbiev especially. He was gassing, but he wouldn't stop. And every round Bivol goes right, he starts advancing. Beterbiev doesn't. He's taking the punches, but he's still going. The punches swing. They are going for it. Bivol doesn't. Bivol wants to prove stuff, and he wants to take back the titles. He had 3 titles, so he wants all. Beterbiev wants to finish that fight, retire. So he's done. It's a revenge war.
Right.
Beterbiev. He's knocked out every one of his opponents. How has he not knocked out this opponent? He's thinking, how can I not knock him out? I've knocked out everyone. Bivol was thinking, I had most of the championship belts, and he's taken it off me in a controversial win. Well, I want it. They're both proving each other. They're both absolutely going for it. They're going for it. It was amazing to watch. One of the best of modern times I've seen. It could have gone either way. I said in last week's episode, I think there's a few dodgy backhand deals, and I believe Bivol will get the win if it goes to points because they're going to want a third match. That earned a lot of money, which means the third match will earn even more. Undisputed, it's going to earn more. I think a draw would have been perfect because they were both perfectly matched. The scoring came to I believe one of them said it was 116 to 113 or 112. That's horrendous. One was a draw. If Bivol won, which I don't believe he did, but if he did, which bear in mind he definitely deserved. I'm not mad that he won. He definitely deserved it. Either one of them deserved it. I think it kind of tilts towards Beterbiev, but Bivol definitely deserved it as well. But if he did win, it was a split decision. It would have been 2 draws and then 115, 114. It did not make sense for him to have a majority decision. That is not correct. Beterbiev was obviously not happy about it. He was clearly robbed a little bit, whether it's robbed of a win or robbed of a decision maker. He was still robbed a bit. He wasn't happy. Bivol was, in tears. He loved it, and obviously the third fight's going to come about, which I think will probably go to Beterbiev because it's the third fight. They're not going to have 4 or 5 fights. That doesn't happen anymore. Yeah, they're going to have 3 fights. I think Beterbiev won that last fight, so I think he's going to win it again and go, right, that's it, done, takes belts, retire. But honestly, amazing. They went to war with each other, and neither one of them backed down. Neither one of them were going to gas and stop. It was amazing. It was absolutely phenomenal. So boxing, that match, I was waiting for it. I was looking forward to it, and it did not disappoint. It actually exceeded expectations, so I was very happy with it. So yeah, that's me. Yeah. That's me for boxing.
I mean, you guys have left me with literally about 10 minutes to talk. So, okay, so F1 75 happened this week. Obviously, the high hopes is going to be that we're going to be able to discuss a lot. I mean, there is a lot to discuss with F1 75 and why it was probably not a great idea to do it the way it has been done. But let's first go into the liveries. So, honestly, there's not been a massive change in everything. The engine cover for Ferrari does look different, which I'm really excited about, and it does look really sleek at the minute. I'm really excited about that. The Aston Martin does look quite different as well. Livery-wise, though, we're looking at basically McLaren, Red Bull, Williams, and I'd argue maybe Mercedes as well haven't changed massively.
McLaren's changed.
No, it hasn't. It looks the exact same as last year.
But it has more black.
Right, okay, so they've added black to it. Congratulations. The V-carb looks completely different, and as does the Haas. The Haas also looks completely different. I'm not 100% sure on whether the Haas has made correct changes. From looking at it, it looks really boxy in comparison to the other cars that obviously have those kind of easier looking side pods, but for some reason that Haas just looks really bulky. I don't know whether or not it was just the images that I've seen and the videos I've seen where it's just sort of cut and edited in a certain way. So I don't want to say for definite that it's not, it's not going to be great when it might actually be really impressive. Yeah. The Ferrari, obviously, I am ridiculously happy with. I think it looks beautiful. I'm so excited to see that.
I'm going to argue and say I don't think much has changed on the Ferrari.
The Ferrari's changed a lot. There's been
the Red Bull hasn't changed a single bit, but it never does.
McLaren's not changed in the slightest. And they even admitted, McLaren even said they've not changed anything.
Why would they?
Exactly. So I'm quite excited to see what they're going to be like in testing. I think, to be fair, I was hoping that we'd see a massive change. And I think for the 10 teams, we've not seen changes really in a way that would be quite obvious. So I think testing is where we're going to really see the big difference. Obviously, F1 75 was a nightmare in itself anyway. As much as I absolutely love Jack Whitehall, I really do like him. I don't know if he was the right pick. He didn't know anything about F1, which I thought made for quite difficult TV when he's obviously asking questions and things like that to some people. Obviously, I get that he kept making the crack joke, and I get it, but I just think after a while it was not funny. Yeah. Lando was hilarious. Lando's little speech where he basically was asked whether or not what he'd been doing over summer break. Yeah. It completely alluded to, extracurricular activities. Yeah. That was hilarious. Loved that. And then obviously we've got the big one that's come out of it is everyone's favourite daddy, Jos Verstappen, has come out to defend his absolute angelic other son, Max. Where obviously at F1 75, Max had quite a big issue with people booing him, which has happened quite a lot when it comes to the English races. Now, I think, and honestly, if anyone can get back to me and sort of, obviously, Jesse, you don't know a lot about it, but I'm sure you might be, vaguely aware of why would Max Verstappen not be popular?
So,
as you understand it,
I think it's going to get this right.
I believe in you. I genuinely
Because he
do
spoke
believe
about
in
it before.
you.
Specific race,
There was a
what
specific
happened.
racer.
2021.
Something quite serious happened in it in 2021. Where,
is this the one where there was a safety car?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Lewis Hamilton was going to win, and then
Yes.
the safety car was like brumming,
yeah.
and that
yeah.
stopped him
Yeah.
from winning.
Okay, so basically, to put it in perspective, Jess, so the safety car came out, and it was, if I'm not mistaken, basically when it was only about 5 or 6 laps to go. So reasonably, the expectation was the safety car was just going to pull him through, because obviously at that point, there was nothing further to do. Red Bull went and changed their tyres. Mercedes didn't, because as their understanding was, they were going to finish the race behind the safety car, which was the expectation. Then all of a sudden, they allowed lap cars to pass the safety car, which meant that lap cars could then go and catch up. Which has never happened before. This has never happened before, not happened since, because quite frankly, it's unheard of and really shouldn't have happened. And then basically after this, it then led to a complete fresh lap as the final lap, which led to the final lap was obviously then deciding who was going to win the World Championship. And obviously this meant that Max Verstappen, who was on fresh tyres, whereas Lewis Hamilton was on the older tyres, meant Lewis Hamilton obviously lost. There's a lot of questions as to whether or not it's underhanded deals.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably.
Yes, there was, yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of questions with that. So obviously ever since, whenever Max comes to Silverstone, or whenever Max obviously comes over to the English like F1 events and things like that, he tends to get booed. He tends to get booed because we remember what happened to Lewis.
Yeah.
And we're not okay. I do feel bad for him though, because I think it's like we were discussing the other day with like Luke Humphries and things. I don't think it's fair to be booing people, especially sports people.
Yeah.
I think there's a big thing for me where I just don't think I agree with it. I think it's unfair, and then all of a sudden it's going to... I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think for a second these guys really care. Like, they are the top athletes in their sport. A couple of people booing them, I don't think is really going to make them lose sleep.
Yeah.
But I do think it's not fair, and it isn't very... Like, as a sports fan, it's not very sportsmanship of us to sort of just boo someone.
Max Verstappen is like the villain of F1, sure. Like, or at least people don't like him.
Yeah.
And he can drive dangerously, and I've seen it before, swearing at the TV, thinking, "Gee, like, come on, this is dangerous."
Yeah.
And he is really bad at driving sometimes. But he said it before. He's driving, and it's different when he's driving. It's not him. He's just a person outside.
Yeah,
with a very troubled background. And
he seems like a really nice guy as well.
He's a very nice guy.
It's just unfortunate
and
sometimes he's got an aggressive
drive. His team is incredibly... I mean, there's some very dodgy things about that team.
I think as much as people were saying... I think Jos Verstappen basically makes it out there it was only Max being booed. In reality, I think Christian Horner probably got the majority of it.
Yeah.
I think it was definitely aimed more at Christian Horner. And, arguably, probably for reasons that are quite understandable. And so I don't necessarily agree with the idea and aspect that Max was definitely the only person who was booed. But I do like that Toto Wolff came out and basically said that no, I wasn't booing Christian. There was 15,000 people that did that. It wasn't necessary. So I can agree. Toto Wolff, Jesse, just so you know, is the principal of Mercedes. So he's the one who obviously was the team principal for when Lewis lost to Max. So there's an aspect there.
Yeah.
And in other news as well, so obviously I don't want to go too far into that, but basically, Jos has said that if the next F1 event is in England, you won't be seeing Max Verstappen, is what Jos Verstappen said. However, Jos Verstappen also said that he won't be at Red Bull anytime soon, and basically all this other stuff because he doesn't want him with Christian Horner. So we'll take what Jos Verstappen says with a little bit of a pinch of salt, because we don't necessarily always agree with what Jos Verstappen says. Reigning MotoGP champ, just to move to this quickly as well, George Martin was unfortunately going to miss the Thailand GP, which is obviously the first GP track.
What team does he
rides for Aprilia.
Okay.
So his injuries didn't seem as substantial as some of the other races. but for some reason he is still missing. But obviously the fact that he's now missing a race, I think will probably say that his injuries are substantial.
Yeah.
So, like, we've all got to hope that he's going to get better.
Yeah,
but I imagine this gives Marc Marquez a really good chance of really pushing it. Obviously, I think...
Marc Marquez is still racing.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Marc Marquez is actually favourite. I think. I kind of checked a little bit of stats the other day for it.
How old is he? 50-something.
Marc Marquez? No. Nowhere near 50. I think he's only like 30-something. He's like 32 or something. He's not that old.
Yeah, but for a racer, especially motorbike racers, do not carry on as long as...
They carry on longer. Valentino Rossi was in his 40s when he retired.
Yeah, and he was one of the longest lasting ones.
Yeah, but I think that's the point. Like, MotoGP is different. MotoGP is made differently. You've got to imagine as well, with MotoGP, like, the risks you're taking, reasonably, you're going to have that older sort of... push it. I think, 100%.
No.
But yeah, so unfortunately, due to the fact that I don't have that much time this week, I'm sort of trying to cram as much information into a very, 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 very short window that I have. So I have gone over. So I'm so sorry. So next week, I'm going to take the big lead and I'm going to talk about a lot more because sod you two. You've done this to me every single week and I can't take it anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, so I've crammed as much as I can. I'll probably have more to talk about next week. Well, obviously, we're also going to be waiting for testing. So that's going to be a big one when testing comes out. And obviously, we can talk about that when we can actually see all of the 10 cars in actual, full glory, which will be dead exciting. So... to sum up today, because unfortunately I've now got to do this, even though I've had the shortest amount of time again.
Sorry, Joe.
Do you know what?
Apologise.
Having younger brothers, honestly, it's just not okay. So, marketing manager, recently appointed, spoke very briefly about, football, because you aren't too happy about football at the minute because you're a bit depressed over the fact that you realistically are about to watch Derby go into the lower league.
The League One.
Yeah, League One, that's the one. We've also discussed darts, which obviously Jesse is extremely happy about at the minute. Carter has finally discussed the match that seems to be the most exciting for a lot of people. And I, unfortunately, spoke very little about my liveries.
Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was waiting for that. So anyway, as we always like to say, thank you ever so much for listening. Genuinely, we absolutely love doing this and we're really enjoying seeing everyone enjoy it as well. If you want to give us any comments, Jesse is desperate to watch a football match that people suggest. So tell him which football match to watch.
Yeah, give me a
he
club,
just
man.
wants to watch someone.
Bet365 will be whipped out.
Oh my God.
So will a pint and live stream. That's what I'm thinking.
I want to argue with someone deeply in comments about whether or not Ferrari are going to win this Constructors. So I really want to argue with someone about that.
It's not really an argument, is it?
It is an argument. Well, it isn't an argument because we are going to win. So we absolutely appreciate everyone watching, listening. We appreciate everyone giving the time to actually listen to three idiotic siblings talk about sports. Absolutely. So thank you. As always, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook even. We are on YouTube. And obviously, wherever you listen to any of your podcasts, whether that be Spotify, Apple, wherever you're listening right now, because you're listening to it right now, we are on all the platforms. So yes, tell us your thoughts, tell us your questions, tell us your theories, and tell us your predictions. Thank you again.
That was impressive, Charlie.
Oh, thank you. I really did try. Thank you again, and bye everyone.
Bye, guys.
Pause.